Last year, my ex-wife cheated on me and we were divorced. I could have been more appreciative of this. My marriage was a hollow shell that appeared lovely on the surface but was hollow inside. Years of financial and mental torture had left me a damaged man. She would deduct the majority of my earnings from my account, leaving me without enough money to pay my bills and other expenses. If I were upset about it, we would argue that I should be held accountable for my low income. I was never able to please her in any way. Any attempt on my part to win her approval would just make her more irritated and angry. She would not be into it when I would try to plan a date night or do anything as a family. She would rather have just been in bed and let to sleep, so she would complain and grow upset. It got to the point where I gave up completely. In the end, I stopped including her in family events. She would become enraged over this as well and accuse me of denying our kids quality time with her. She eventually stopped returning home at night. She would first claim that she was sleeping at the home of someone I didn't really know. Then she started to get annoyed with my questions. She would tell me that what she did didn't concern me. Then I found it bothersome to even ask her questions. I never gave it a second thought if she didn't return home at night. To tell the truth, I enjoyed her absence on those nights. I was deeply relieved as well as terrified for my living circumstances when she filed for divorce. I read everything her lawyer sent me, even though I didn't even oppose it. He made several mistakes in the past. Our divorce case was really postponed for months because of all of his faults. Whenever I discovered an error, I would return the document to him unsigned, and his staff would correct it, sometimes with the same mistakes, sometimes with new ones, but they would always have to face my scrutiny. Among the major mistakes were the following: our home address was incorrect, our names and hers were spelt incorrectly, our child's name and date of birth were also spelt incorrectly, we included the children of other people, our marriage date was incorrect, we included homes and businesses that neither of us owned, we agreed to pay $50,000 to give up ownership of our businesses, a different draft, and her lawyer's name was spelt incorrectly. I laughed aloud on the toilet at this one. Before the majority of the mistakes were fixed, there were roughly 7 drafts in all, and there were still significant mistakes in the final version that was sent to the court. He attempted to convince the judge that I should pay the court and legal fees, but I was able to prove that he was mostly to blame for the delays because of all the egregious mistakes. My ex-wife is living with the abusive lover she left me for after our divorce. She can't access my bank accounts now that I've closed all of the passwords, so she quickly realized how much she depended on my money to augment her own. In addition, she mistreated her uncle, who was renting us his house, to the point where it nearly went into foreclosure. He came up to me and explained his predicament, telling me that I would have to pay for all the bills she neglected to make if I wanted to remain in the house. It was roughly $15,000 in overdue mortgage payments spread over 6 months. I suggested that I buy his house instead because I didn't have that much. It astonished me that he concurred. The house of my ex's grandma is now mine. It has now been a year since my split. I received a big raise along with a promotion. I still reside in my home and make upgrades when I can. I am seeing a new female every few weeks to a month even if I don't have a girlfriend because of internet dating. I'm pleased everything worked out in the end. It's funny how she abandoned her comfortable life for an abusive dirtbag, and how she nearly caused her uncle's house to be ruined. She filed for divorce, which was a big favor to you. When the mist of the affair clears, she will return. Never let go of her and don't let tears deceive you. And now for the update. My divorce will be 1 year old on November 3rd. I've since sought treatment in an effort to better myself. It was advised that I concentrate on my personal growth while in therapy. That's exactly what I did. I changed my diet and started exercising, and I lost almost 50 pounds. I started playing soccer again on a regular basis, and I even started coaching my child's youth team. I also picked up reading again. Every week, I aim to read a book. My life at work has greatly improved. I received a substantial promotion and raise. I have no trouble taking care of my child and myself by myself. I work 5 days a week on average. After everything, my ex-wife now wants to return to our lives. She gets banged up by her new boyfriend, who saved her from her awful marriage. He sent her to the hospital because of the severity of the most recent event. The child who was with her at the time made the ambulance call. However, my ex-wife is denying it happened and does not want to file charges. The bruises reveal an entirely different tale. Last night, I attended a family celebration. This particular family contacted to invite me because they know that I get along well with them. Although I did not speak with my ex-wife, we were friendly. We still adore each other, a foolish notion that her family instilled in her. There is no way that this is not false. I did not like our marriage, even if my ex-wife did. She used me as little more than a second source of income while I grayed and rocked. During the latter 2 years of our marriage, she also dared me. This woman mistreated me financially and emotionally. She was having an affair with her lover during the final year of our marriage. She denied everything and fled to his place when I challenged her about it. She stated it was my fault because I wasn't giving her enough support when I caught her in the open. After I had settled all of the debts, I was giving her my entire paycheck. I went years without purchasing any new clothes or shoes for myself. She eventually made it to a soccer match today. She asks me if I'm ready to move in with her after the game. I ask her, perplexed, why would I do that? She continues with this long monologue about how we still love one another, that we should raise our child together, and so on. I informed her that I absolutely do not trust her and that I do not love her in any manner. She still owes me more than $1,100 for fixing her car, I pointed out to her. She promised to reimburse me if we moved in together. I let out a hearty laugh. I laughed so hard I hunched over. I laughed even harder when she began to weep. I know I'm a jerk for making fun of her, but after everything I've been through and everything I've done to better myself, going back to the person who caused me all of my suffering would be an absolute nightmare for me. She is still very much loved by my child, and I will never do anything to make him dislike his mother. She is more than capable of handling things on her own. Are you both set to move in together? She asks you that with a great deal of nerve. Instead of offering an apology or expressing regret, she wanted to move in together as if she were a prize. She's quite naive, and your poor youngster will have trauma from seeing his mother banged up. Demand complete custody and remove him from that setting. The second update is coming up immediately. Discovered a wonderful person. I sincerely hope that everyone finds happiness in their life, regardless of the course they decide to pursue with their relationship. I know it is difficult and that it will take time for everyone to recover at this difficult time in their lives. Personally, I've had a really busy year. November 3rd was the anniversary of my divorce. Since then, I've worked on my own growth, attended therapy, and dated both amazing and not so wonderful ladies. My girlfriend sure posted on Facebook about a vacation I went over the weekend, and my ex-wife discovered it on Monday. We went on a fantastic trip, where we snapped a ton of pictures, ate some delicious cuisine, and got pretty intoxicated. I don't typically take pictures on these occasions, but sure is someone I truly enjoy. I agreed when she requested whether she may share pictures from our trip. I asked her to tag me in them as well. I anticipated some trouble from this, but to be honest, I was shocked by the amount of trouble I received from my ex-wife and her relatives. To put things in perspective, let me tell you that my ex-wife cheated on me for more than a year before our divorce. Before we split up, my ex-wife was even having extramarital affairs. The ex-wife moved into her boyfriend's home prior to the finalization of our divorce. Now, it has been a year after our divorce. During our whole marriage, my ex-wife mistreated me financially and emotionally. She continues to be abusive towards me, but on Monday, her hatred and disdain for me reached entirely new heights. My ex-wife gave the impression that I had cheated on her. She was talking about how indecent it is that I could publish things on social media for everyone to see, how embarrassing it is that I would do something like this to her, and how I embarrassed her by appearing in photos with other women. My ex-wife accused me of being insensitive and selfish for not considering her feelings. I am a coward for keeping my relationship with someone else a secret. My ex-wife even claimed that my philandering behavior destroyed the love she had been hanging on to for me and destroyed any prospect of us ever getting back together. She is screaming at me over the phone the entire time, mind you. I'm laughing so hard at her right now. I let her vent to me for half an hour, telling her how I destroyed our relationship and violated her trust in me. How many women did I sleep with throughout our marriage? My ex-wife asked. I didn't tell her any. I remained devoted to her all the way to the end. Then she inquired as to how many ladies I had dated since our divorce. Laughing even harder, I told her that since we are no longer together, it doesn't matter who I have been with. I informed her that, just as what she does is none of my business, neither is what I do. She insulted Sher and me in pages of filthy, offensive text messages. The former spouse made a threat to direct message Sher, exposing me in the unpleasant aspects of our marriage. I gave her the all clear. She expressed her desire to meet Sher in person in order to learn more about her character. The ex-wife claimed that if she is willing to end a nice marriage, she cannot be that kind of person. I asked her what the was she talking about at that point. It has been well over a year since we were last together. She cheated on me, left, and got a divorce, as I reminded her, so she could be with her boyfriend. Then the ex-wife began to cry. The ex-wife continued to wail, saying that it wasn't fair that I had someone to do things with and that she hoped we could work things out. As a family, I should be spending time with her and our child. My ex-wife informed me that she was not content with her boyfriend's relationship. The ex-wife at last acknowledged that he treats her as though she has always known these things. Although I don't enjoy hearing about her, I don't truly care for my ex-wife. To be honest, I don't want to make amends with her. Though I'm content with my life as it is at the moment, I do not want to interact with her ever again. Sure makes me happy and makes me eager to see her once more. I text her the last thing at night and the first thing in the morning. We intend to travel again shortly. I'm aware that sharing photos may incite my ex-wife's ire once more, but it will be worthwhile. This demonstrates her narcissism as she holds you responsible for everything. Keep your conversations concerning your child to yourself. Why did you spend 30 minutes listening to her tirade? You need to have ended the call as soon as she began. Furthermore, resist letting her steer the story. She might start accusing you of being unfaithful. Be ready for that. Best of luck to you. Now for the 2-year report on the second story. For me, D-Day was therefore late on March 21, 2021. I learned about one affair, which led me to learn about another, and probably more. After 23 years of marriage, 2 biological children and 1 adopted child were abandoned. For a year, I made an effort to make amends, but she found a second phone due to her drinking, complex PTSD, and mental health issues. After she shot herself in my side of the bed, I decided to end the relationship. Filed in April, finalized in June, a hectic divorce that left little time for breathing. It seemed like I had escaped from death row. I was not aware of my level of tension. After learning the truth, I acted badly in every way. I played me too, we had instantaneous close relationships, neither of us received therapy, etc. We attended therapy, but it was too late, the children had already stopped believing in their mother. I felt completely crushed, ashamed, furious, mournful, and zombie-like. When the ex went viral last April with allegations of all kinds of horrible things against me on social media, abuse, rape, stealing money from my 401k, I was astounded by the sheer number of people who reached out to me offering their support. Of obviously nothing to do with what she did. I released a little PSA informing everyone that it was entirely untrue. I would understand if they felt the need to unfriend me, and if they were willing to give me the benefit of the doubt, they would eventually find out. I started working out, lost weight, going from 6 feet 2 inches to 185 pounds, changed positions within my company, and took a step up in my long career. I also planned to use phone apps for revenge sex during the summer. What was strange was that one of the people who had reached out was an old high school classmate who lived 10 hours away and was going through a similar experience, self-discovery, about 6 months after I had experienced it myself. We would check in with each other once a week. I traveled to Knoxville for work, and one evening while we were texting, I boasted about the live music I was seeing on the 2 nights I would be there. Long story short, I never got my summer of revenge sex with an army of willing ladies, but I did have a summer filled with beaches, live music, tours of distilleries, she's one of those whiskey people, and just general fun that I hadn't had in a long, long time. The summer turned into fall, and with it came meeting families, spending Thanksgiving and Christmas with her family, taking a long weekend trip to Vegas over the Super Bowl, and so on. I turned 52 today, which makes me happy. The last 2 birthdays were terrible, but this one is exciting because she is moving in right now. She is a nurse and she found a job in my city in the South very quickly. She is keeping her house and letting her daughter rent it. I would have advised any friend against it because it feels wrong, too fast, too soon, etc., but we are both tired of being together and waiting to see if it's what we suspect. I am happier, less stressed, and I have a lady who is way out of my league, makes me look good, and seems to be crazy for me. Huge red flag. So my revenge is pretty much complete. There are a lot of posts on this site that talk about karma or revenge. My ex still texts me while intoxicated, and it's always wishing we were still together. It's about 50% I'm sorry, 50% it's still my fault from her perspective. Viewers, I included this story to let you know that you should never give up, no matter what life throws at you. It's never too late to start over, put yourself first, and believe in yourself. Honestly, it does get better. Op was able to start over at 50, and you can too. That's all. My story is to let you know that what your spouse did to you was awful, world-ending, but you can come out of it okay, better. In some cases, they threw you away not realizing what they lost, and now that you know, you're going to be better off.